Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. Wow. It's time to finish this strong. I'm about to do my homework. Give me just a second. And you can follow me at the Kimberly Cloud Show on the Kimberly Cloud Show 39 on Facebook if you want to watch the introduction. This is my first class, my second class, and we're gonna start strong. Let me share it with you. Sharing is caring. And then if I feel like doing some stuff on the side, I will. Let me sit India style. I concentrate better. That's like a style. Indian style is like what people do when they meditating. Whoa. I don't want an application. I'm already in, man. It's cooler than a fan. I should have changed. Hold on. Don't watch me. Okay, I'm adjusted now. I didn't know y'all could see that much. Okay. Let's do this. Business law. Where's my my arm? Wait, let me move this. It'll be okay. Okay. Let's do this. I need a new one. Here we go. First, before we get started, we're going to go back here. The grade is pending. Go to class, see what happened. Can we spend some time? What's up, Doc? Oh, it's just pending before it goes through. How did I get a 16.67 on a discussion again? Oh, okay. As long as I got an A minus, okay. What was your comment, Stock? I still got an A minus. One response, two replies. What did I do wrong? Oh. Oh, thank you. You knew I would look at it. Okay, I get it now, what I was doing wrong. I will post it right away. And your rules are 2 separate days. You want me to look at a Forbes article. Thank you, Doc. I was about to get mad for a second. Just calm and take it down a notch, Scotty. Scotty! I got 92.105 out of 98, 985 points. A minus. Where's my messages? Thank you. So proud of him. He understood. Okay, now let's do this. I got an A minus. And I get a badge. Or do I get a badge? I don't think I get a badge. Wait. Hold on. Let me go back. Let me see. I'm going to take off my earrings. There's no reason to keep them on. I know they look pretty, but let me take my hoops, big bamboos. Okay, Because it's like going into a fight at a high school. You taking off everything, you getting ready to get into that, like Mike Tyson type fighting. That's how I feel about school. What kind of badges can I get? I want a badge. Where's the badges at? Okay, he told me we can get a digital badge somewhere. Did I do? It's somewhere that he said I would earn a digital badge. I did. Did I earn an 80 something? I think I earned like a 70 something. Let me write him. I want that badge. Look at the grade book again. No? What does this mean? Here we go. He's writing something to me. Good. Show more content. He said, very complete and well done. Thank you, Doc. Thank you. I get really, the hair on the back of my neck and hair just stands up and, what is this though? Let me write him. He said, very well done. I appreciate you. I didn't finish something and I don't know what I didn't finish, but it's okay. I think it's a B. Message. Hello. I was wondering if I can get an IT badge. Let me know if I qualify. Okay, let's get started. Ooh, I don't know how to get started. Okay. Week 1, learning activities. Week 2, discussion. Week 1, knowledge check. Let's browse through here. I want to see. Uh-oh. I have to read about it first. I know some of this, but I'm not going to sit up there and guess it. You have unlimited, the highest attempt will be used. I don't want to just jump in here and do a knowledge check like I know what the F I'm doing. So I'm going to read about it a little bit. I'm going to skim through. I know how to read. I skim. Okay, here go the responses. And we're going to read together. I may not read everything because I'm a good reader, but I don't like to talk a lot. I'm not a talker like good old President Donald Trump. So, alternative dispute resolution, ADR, refers to procedures and techniques in which disputes are settled outside of the courtroom. These settlements are often negotiated by a legal counsel representing the company. There are 7 types of alternative dispute resolution depending on the dispute. The federal government, large business, and small business can all benefit from resolving complaints in this way. If your company has good corporate governance, it typically means there's a strong relationship with stakeholders, often including disclosure and transparency process when sharing financial and operational aspects of the company. Select one type of ADR. Provide an example of a business dispute that would use this type. How can using this type mitigate the concerns? Who from the business would need to be involved? Woo! Hold up, wait a minute, something broke. Close it out then. Let's go to our learning activities. Read topic, watch. We're going to watch. I like watching. I'll watch. I swear I'll watch. What? I hope it's on LinkedIn. What? We're going to watch this.
To solve a workplace problem. Maybe it's a problem about missing out on a promotion or not receiving a bonus for a specific piece of work. If you're stuck in the middle between your company and a workplace conflict, or maybe you're in a position where you need to enact HR policies, you need to know about managing and handling situations that need arbitration and/or dispute resolution. ACAS, the United Kingdom's Advisory, Conciliation and Arbitration Service, is an organisation used for workplace disputes as an alternative to what could become costly and complicated legal proceedings. Arbitration is a legal alternative to courts or tribunals, but involving an impartial professional like an independent lawyer to act as an arbitrator and decide on things like part-time workers being excluded from company development programs or people being unfairly dismissed. Arbitration is often used on larger scale, industry-specific, collective disputes like moving location or compulsory overtime. It can be an alternative to a court of law, but it is voluntary. So both sides must agree to abide by the arbitrator's decision, for example, where someone was unfairly overlooked for promotion and an award is then made for lost income. In other countries, forms of alternative dispute resolution, or ADR, are operated and can contain three elements. First, we have arbitration, where experts in workplace law will make decisions based on the presentation of facts and evidence, but without becoming a large and complicated court action. This is the most formal route to go. Next up is conciliation. This is when a third party like a business consultant or a lecturer acts as a facilitator to exchange information between the parties in conflict, encouraging them to settle. For example, overcoming someone being excluded from overtime because they are part-time. Finally, there's mediation, similar to conciliation, but often less formal. The law requires that before a case can be heard in a labour court or tribunal, the applicant must use a mediator. Mediation is where an impartial third party, the mediator, helps two or more people in dispute to reach an agreement. For example, where someone was bullied by their colleague and cannot return to work if that colleague is not disciplined or dismissed. All aspects of dispute resolution are guided by government-backed advisory institutions or legal trade representatives. Understanding a set of processes and complying with the eventual decision is often the only way to resolve a breakdown or disagreement. Employers and employees seek help when they become entrenched in their own position, and the focus is on fighting for principles and ethics instead of negotiating. Something like an unfair dismissal, where a breach of duty or rules is not clear-cut, can be interpreted differently by the employer and the employee, and they believe there is no compromise and have to ask an impartial expert to decide. Whilst people may still feel the decision is unfair to them, and there are appeals processes, it is often the independent outcome needed to break the deadlock. The parties will be expected to abide by this ruling, which may result in implementing changes or some form of compensation, or a directive forcing both parties to a form of compromise. Applying rules, weighing up evidence, and considering precedents from other proceedings all helps the independent dispute resolution arbitrator, the lawyer or expert, to come to a fair and just decision.
I'm going to the
In the event
store.
there is a dispute where the company's own policies and systems have been unable to resolve the issue, HR will need to bring in alternatives to resolve those disputes. These alternatives to full-blown court hearings give workplaces a critical, independent perspective and give us rulings that break deadlocks. These proceedings, along with knowing how people behave and the psychology of conflict, objection, and adversity, will help you to understand why breakdowns happen and need dispute resolution processes.
Well said, Dr. Perry Times. Hold on. Okay. Court action, I think. Which one was it? Which one was it? Let me get it right then. Which process for conflict resolution typically is the least arbitration? Probably. I'm gonna wait it till they get right so I can learn it. This was the mediation. Let me write that down. I have to get used to the lingo. Which process for conflict is least typically formal? Process for conflict, number one, is least. I gotta go to the Dollar Tree. I'm gonna be doing a lot of writing. As long as it's videos, I'm good. Or what I had in the last class, mediation. Let me hit it. They won't let me hit it. Next question. Which level of union membership is typically necessary for employer recognition? A recognition of union membership. I would say either 5 or 25%. I'm gonna go with 5. You shouldn't have to have that much. I'm gonna go with 25%. I'm just playing around right now. It's really 50%. It's 10%. Let me write it down. These are just playing around questions to get me used to seeing it. Of union membership is typically necessary for, so it's 10% for employee. When I get it wrong, I'll write it down until I can get my own. Your recognition, 10%. The ones I get wrong. Collaborative discussions aimed at resolving conflict in Abigail's division have failed to yield an agreement. What is the next step? Formal is when you first do it. When it doesn't work, a formal is when you first get there. Trade disruption, I don't even know what that is. So I'm going to guesstimate external mediation. That's outside mediation. So if that's not it, see, this is how I learned. Formal negotiation, trade disruption, strike. Okay, we're gonna write that down because I got it wrong the first time. And I didn't know the answer. I guesstimated. Collaborative discussions aimed at resolving a conflict in Abigail's division have failed to yield an agreement. It's way more videos too, so I need to pay attention a little bit more. The lingo I got to get used to. What is the next step? Okay. Formal negotiation. Formal. That's the first time. Oh, I get the question now. So they're at work and they fail to agree on a conflict at the Abigail's division. So now they go to a formal negotiation. Now, where are we at? The meaning, let's see. Where were we at? Employee relation. Let's see what it does. How much? That's like all in all 25, 30 minutes. Introduction. I have a piece of hair right there. Let's see something.
Leading the relationship between people and their employer has been a key part of HR's role. Managing negotiations, handling disputes, and creating a collaborative approach to key decisions is still crucial in engaging people and the organisation. But 21st century ways of working are creating many challenges for fair, inclusive, and safe environments to work that are productive and positive places to be. With the advent of more digital and automated work, employee relations is in need of a refresh. In this course, we'll look at past, present, and future employee relations, plus the skills needed for you to bring about positive and effective outcomes to the challenges of modern working lives. Join me, Perry Timms, where we look at building an effective set of skills and approaches to positively manage employee relations.
Oh, sir. Now what? Number one. 4 minutes. Short history of...
The history of HR is quite lengthy and might not seem important to know, but knowledge of HR's past will help shape its future and create stronger, more effective representation for workers in all industries. So let's take a brief look at its history. How did worker representation, now called employee relations, become a thing? And why do we have worker councils, bodies, and trades unions? It's important for HR professionals to acknowledge the past, present, and future of employee relations as the basis for creating stronger, more effective representation for workers in all industries. So let's take a look at that. For over 120 years, we've had some form of bargaining and negotiation around the relationship between workers and their employees. As we moved into the 1800s industrial revolution, large companies began to employ vast numbers of people, craftsmen and lower skilled workers in mills and forges, and on highly repetitive production lines in factories. The move from farming to factories and country to city living gave us the earliest forms of the capitalist system we now know. Wealth came from industrial strength, not the privilege of birth into the upper classes. With pressures to keep costs low, production and quality high, plus make profits, industrialists began to push people with longer hours, shortcuts on safety, and disregard for worker welfare. People would be exhausted, ill, dismissed, or even died because of poor conditions in those working environments. And so collective worker responses were needed to fight injustice through forms of protest or the ultimate withdrawal of labour. We'd now refer to them as walkouts or strikes. Employment law followed, with pressure put on governments to legislate, which continues to this day. Workplace wrongdoing, such as employers discriminating against women or older workers in promotion decisions, would become punishable by law, with the state now able to prosecute businesses and owners whilst giving worker representatives legal force to back their claims of unfair treatment and conditions. This led the way to the development of initially industrial relations, what we now know as employee relations. For example, in Germany, worker councils have representation on company boards and influence key decisions affecting workers and the organisation. In Asia, and particularly China, employment legislation is aimed at giving workers protection, avoiding union disputes. 20th century workplace history describes a range of industrial disputes covering working time regulations to fair pay and benefits. The 1970s and 1980s will go down as peak unionization, but this changed in the 1990s with a significant decrease of union power in the UK and USA. The decrease of union power continues to now. In the 21st century, large-scale disputes are rare and often resolved through mediation and someone taking an independent view. So where has all this led us? The future for worker representation and employee relations is becoming a more complex one, with digital and robotic automation of work, new forms of worker status like self-employed agents, and a keen interest in good organisations. Unions, worker councils, and employee relations will be an even more interesting area of the elements of a collaborative organisation. Potentially, we have never needed committed employee relations practitioners more than ever with the challenges of the future of work, nor have individuals had so many options to represent their interests, perhaps not needing formal worker representation. A new form of employee relations may be upon us. In creating a fair and inclusive place of work, HR's role is as the steward of doing the right thing, not just providing the same thing. As professionals, we need to apply diverse, fair, and inclusive approaches to HR processes and activities. So what exactly does that mean, and how can we do that? Having overcome harsh and now illegal factors like child labour, a 70-hour week, and providing benefits like maternity, sick or paid leave, employment legislation has created more fairness and diversity-related legal protection for people that addresses unfair and discriminatory practices that could have a form of bias against people with what we know as protected characteristics. Protected characteristics are about someone's gender, their race or ethnicity, their faith, how old they are, what caring responsibilities they might have, their sexual orientation, any disability they have, and their socio-demographic background. Recruitment, pay, performance, working patterns, promotion, career development, learning and personal development are all factors that everyone is entitled to in some way. And fairness of access to these elements of work is crucial to overcome any exclusions people may experience. Modern life comes with a set of expectations about fairness, equality, and diversity in the workplace. Understanding protected characteristics helps influence the processes, how colleagues and managers behave, and what people can expect in being fairly treated. Protected characteristics in most countries are now enshrined in law and prevent prejudice, but are primarily for equal opportunity. It's a complex but human-centered element of employee relations. To achieve a balanced approach to such aspects and benefits of the workplace, many organizations operate openly fair, diverse, and inclusive approaches. Diversity and inclusion shows up in situations like internal processes like benefits, project assignments, and working in other parts of the organization. Work and life circumstances, things like caring responsibilities for children or elders, religious holidays or rituals, hospital and medical appointments. Also access to career development and new roles, irrespective of working pattern, age, gender, disability, etc. And adjustments to the working environment and support needed to do the job, like a standing desk following a back operation, wheelchair access, timing of team meetings to fit caring responsibilities or prayer needs, or screen reading software for those with a visual impairment. Whilst to many people these may seem like extreme measures, diversity and inclusion doesn't mean treating everyone the same. It means there is equal access for people who may require adjustments to processes, physical aspects of work, and opportunities. Many things affect people through chance and personal choice. Diversity and inclusion helps the workplace adapt to accommodate changing needs and avoid discrimination, which would disadvantage people on those differences. The CIPD, the Chartered Institute of Personnel Development in the UK, states that diversity is about recognising difference. It's acknowledging that benefit of having a range of perspectives in decision making, and the workforce is representative of the organisation's customers. Inclusion is where people's differences are valued and used to enable everyone to thrive at work. An inclusive working environment is one which everyone feels that they belong without having to conform, that their contribution matters and they're able to perform to their full potential, no matter their background, identity, or circumstances. A diverse workforce is ultimately said to represent the community and society it operates in and the customers it serves.
Well said.
Workplace issues arise. Things may seem unfair, like being overlooked for a promotion or move or being denied a benefit. And so we need a legal solution to protect our rights as employer or employee. For that reason, we have comprehensive laws on employment rights. Employment law normally applies when there is a breach of trust and potentially of the law itself. It's now a very specific area of practice for the legal profession the world over. It differs from country to country and across sectors and industries. Paraphrasing the CIPD, the UK's professional body for HR, employment law covers new and updated statutes regarding recruiting, working hours, holiday time, rates of pay, and career opportunities. It also covers protection of individual and company information, a healthy working environment, childcare, and sickness rights. And it's there to protect when things become challenging in situations like disciplinary and grievance processes, illegal practices, and fairness in situations such as redundancy schemes. One specific area where employment law has truly made an impact is on company takeovers and mergers. For example, where one airline merges with another, a worker's previous terms and conditions are honoured in the new airline's operation. This has prevented the loss of benefits like flexible working and gives assurances around changes like a new base airport or shift patterns. Most employment law is country specific, and in the case of global companies, local laws apply wherever the employee works. So if you're working in Singapore, then you need to abide by Singaporean law.
Okay.
As an HR practitioner, make sure you're well versed in the laws of the region where your organisation is operating. European Union employment law allows employers to choose which country's law their contract is subject
Get out of
to.
here.
So let's say you're a Portuguese company operating in Poland. The company can decide if their Portuguese workers now operating in Poland are subject to Portuguese or Polish laws. But there are mandatory rules of the country where the employee is working, which automatically apply and can't be ignored. So your Portuguese employee can't ignore Polish laws such as state public holidays or local customs. We often see employment law grab headlines when there has been unfair treatment or even dismissal, like someone deemed too old for certain type of work despite their physical fitness. Or perhaps a situation where an employee shares something negative on social media, which damages the organisation's reputation or causes it to lose customers, money, or market share. Employment law is meant to be a final resort after the relationship between the employer and employee has broken down and no agreement can be reached without going to court. In the United Kingdom, employment tribunals and panels form the lower court aimed at settling disputes using existing employment laws to assess claims. Across Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, employment laws are strong on employee rights and unfair dismissals. Many countries' employment laws are said to favour the employee, protecting their rights and offering legal remedies for things like discrimination. In the Americas, a variety of approaches are at play, from employee-friendly terms in Brazil to employer-friendly terms in the USA. In the hands of qualified HR, legal and judicial professionals, decisions and rewards are made and precedents are set that create lawful employment practices of the future.
Chapter quiz time. Okay, here we go. Give me a second.
Within organizations, decisions are proposed that might negatively impact employees. And in these situations,
going too fast for me. Okay, I thought it was equal access. I just wanted to read about it. Darn it. Which country's law apply to this field between which country's laws applies to disputes between employers and employees? In the country which the worker takes place. The home country of the, no, I just read that. The country in which the product is used or sold, no. The country in which the work takes place. Hopefully that's it. Let's see. Correct. What gave rise to field of employee relations? What gave rise to the field of employee relations? Discrimination by employers and walkouts by workers. Discrimination has to be there. Then it's this one. Or unionization of workers. Let me see. I don't want to get that wrong. If it's not that, let me read it one more time. Unions. I knew it was unions, but I was like, no, I was going to pick two more and it would have been wrong. So it's the unionization. Oh my God. So it's conflict between workers and employees. So what gave rise to the field of employee relations? Conflict between workers and conflict between employers. Employee relations is when it's a type of, hold on, let me read about it a little bit. Okay. Good. They created something so that workers and employees can mitigate against discrimination. Good. Continue watching. Let's keep going.
Within organizations, decisions are proposed that might negatively impact employees. And in these situations, third-party representation helps. This key aspect of employee relations is known as collective bargaining, and it helps protect employee rights and create conditions for reaching fair results. As an HR professional, this is something you probably won't interact with on a daily basis, but it's beneficial to know for when you are engaged in it. So let me walk you through some of the basics of collective bargaining. A union or connected group of employees come together to represent their colleagues in things that impact the entire workforce, or maybe a specific group within it. They create a negotiating body that seeks the fairest outcome in situations like pay and better working conditions. Formalised union representation has been with us since the middle of the Industrial Revolution. We often hear about unions in one area, strikes or the withdrawal of labour. This often happens when the collective bargaining process is at a dead end and strikes are called to force a resolution by bringing the company's operations to a halt. Many, if not most, collective bargaining processes result in some form of a deal. Maybe it's a yearly review of pay or new conditions because of changing technologies in the workplace or the advent of new laws and regulations around workplace safety, well-being, breaks, and entitlements. Collective bargaining is a set of laws and principles similar to the political process. Most established industries like transport, healthcare, teaching, manufacturing, and government administration have recognised union representation and with it, collective bargaining. How does this work in practice? What about in small firms or newly merged and acquired firms? Employment rights, the law that protects employees and employers from bad and unlawful practices, is the platform which collective bargaining is based on. As a company scales, it may form a workers' representative group, or maybe it inherited unionised employees and has collective bargaining as part of the transfer of rights. Or it may be that a formal representative body agrees to service a new market or sector. In areas like gig or on-demand working, the Independent Workers' Union of Great Britain now represents people working in delivery, cleaning, agency services, and more. Union membership or worker council representation is considered a legally protected right in most countries, but there are a few exceptions. Recent reports of interference with the union-based political opposition in Iran is one example where unions are allowed, but perhaps limited in certain activities. Union or trade groups have the right to formally represent their members in collective bargaining agreements. Some companies will not recognise them if membership is a very low percentage of their workforce. 10% of a workforce is typical for more formal recognition. So, when an employer has a key company-wide decision to make, it seeks the input of its workforce mainly through collective bargaining. Or a company may try to introduce a policy or directive which members believe is harmful to the workplace, so they intervene by alerting the representative body. Then both parties seek a collective bargaining agreement through representation and negotiation. Exchanges of evidence, examples and arguments form the basis of collective bargaining. And once an approach is agreed, members vote and authority is given to the representative body. The agreement is then declared. The formal introduction of the new policy, directive, or decision is working conditions. Formalised union representation has been with us since the middle of the Industrial Revolution. We often hear about unions in one area, strikes or the withdrawal of labour. This often happens when the collective bargaining process is at a dead end and strikes are called to force a resolution by bringing the company's operations to a halt. Many, if not most, collective bargaining processes result in some form of a deal. Maybe it's a yearly review of pay or new conditions because of changing technologies in the workplace or the advent of new laws and regulations around workplace safety, well-being, breaks, and entitlements. Collective bargaining is a set of laws and principles similar to the political process. Okay. Most established industries like transport, healthcare, teaching, manufacturing, and government administration have recognised union representation and with it, collective bargaining. How does this work in practice? What about in small firms or newly merged and acquired firms? Employment rights, the law that protects employees and employers from bad and unlawful practices, is the platform which collective bargaining is based on. As a company scales, it may form a workers' representative group, Or maybe it inherited unionized employees and has collective bargaining as part of the transfer of rights. Or it may be that a formal representative body agrees to service a new market or sector. In areas like gig or on-demand working, the Independent Workers' Union of Great Britain now represents people working in delivery, cleaning, agency services, and more. Union membership or worker council representation is considered a legally protected right in most countries, but there are a few exceptions. Recent reports of interference with the union-based political opposition in Iran is one example where unions are allowed, but perhaps limited in certain activities. Union or trade groups have the right to formally represent their members in collective bargaining agreements. Some companies will not recognise them if membership is a very low percentage of their workforce. 10% of a workforce is typical for more formal recognition. So, when an employer has a key company-wide decision to make, it seeks the input of its workforce mainly through collective bargaining. Or a company may try to introduce a policy or directive which members believe is harmful to the workplace, so they intervene by alerting the representative body. Then both parties seek a collective bargaining agreement through representation and negotiation. Exchanges of evidence, examples and arguments form the basis of collective bargaining. And once an approach is agreed, members vote and authority is given to the representative body. The agreement is then declared, the formal introduction of the new policy, directive, or decision is implemented without any worker controversy or withdrawal. Collective bargaining is set up to protect fairness, is a medium for influence, and a method for inclusion instead of one the media often portrays as an always hostile, combative element of the world of work.
Next one.
Any workplace that has some form of scale will benefit from collaborative approaches to decisions. When there's just 30 of you, it's easier to come together and make decisions. When it's 3,030 of you, it's much trickier. Collaboration has become something of a buzzword in the world of work. Many companies recognize that motivated employees are vital in making things, doing things, and serving their reason for being, customers. Employees are also helping shape future successes and overcoming obstacles in the workplace to influence company decisions. We call this negotiation. Formalized worker representation is one form of collaboration and negotiation which many of us would recognize. Unions or worker councils step into controversial, complex, and challenging situations like unfair conditions of work for people with long hours and imposed shifts. So they act on behalf of their members to create something fairer for them. They offer alternatives, compromises, and even non-negotiable points to improve the working conditions. There are, of course, many smaller scale collaborations and negotiations, for example, at team or divisional level, which aren't so formal. You've probably experienced a peak in workload and some additional hours, or colleagues being absent due to illness. A collaborative and negotiation-based approach helps teams cope with similar increased demands. Short fixes like these form the backbone of team spirit, togetherness, and flexibility. Collaborative approaches can help with short-term spikes in demand, yet if this spike becomes the new normal, employees will need additional help and call on their managers to recruit more people. Leaders may not see the need and consider additional resources a risk through additional wage bill or not enough space to locate the additional people. Yet the existing workforce feels they cannot cope with this increased workload, so will seek a negotiation on the leader's decision. A general first point of consideration in negotiations is using evidence to support their claims. If negotiations are unsuccessful and come to a standstill, either external mediation help is sought, and if this fails, employees may feel the only action they can take is to withdraw their labour through formal strike action. Collaboration and negotiation are intertwined. When collaborative ways of working aren't enough to resolve workplace problems, then a formal negotiation is the next stage in achieving a fairer outcome. As we all know, a collaborative spirit is vital to ensure the most effective use of a wide range of people, their skills, abilities, attitudes, and applied working. Most working environments rely on that spirit of collaboration and only try to formalize this when there are significant challenges to face or there is a fractured relationship between employer and employee. You see, it's not just formal representative bodies that collaborate and negotiate. We all play our part in not just doing our work, but in how we do it, make key decisions, and look out for each other. We collaborate every day, and perhaps we negotiate too. There are levels and scales of this as things become more complex. Negotiation, then, is a dialogue between two or multiple perspectives and a variety of options created to consider how best to move forward. None of us likes the idea of having to involve others to solve a workplace problem. Maybe it's a problem about missing out on a promotion or not receiving a bonus for a specific piece of work. If you're stuck in the middle between your company and a workplace conflict, or maybe you're in a position where you need to enact HR policies, you need to know about managing and handling situations that need arbitration and/or dispute resolution. ACAS, the United Kingdom's Advisory, Conciliation and Arbitration Service, is an organisation used for workplace disputes as an alternative to what could become costly and complicated legal proceedings. Arbitration is a legal alternative to courts or tribunals, but involving an impartial professional like an independent lawyer to act as an arbitrator and decide on things like part-time workers being excluded from company development programs or people being unfairly dismissed. Arbitration is often used on larger scale, industry-specific, collective disputes like moving location or compulsory overtime. It can be an alternative to a court of law, but it is voluntary. So both sides must agree to abide by the arbitrator's decision, for example, where someone was unfairly overlooked for promotion and an award is then made for lost income. In other countries, forms of alternative dispute resolution, or ADR, are operated and can contain three elements. First, we have arbitration, where experts in workplace law will make decisions based on the presentation of facts and evidence, but without becoming a large and complicated court action. This is the most formal route to go. Next up is conciliation. This is when a third party like a business consultant or a lecturer acts as a facilitator to exchange information between the parties in conflict, encouraging them to settle. For example, overcoming someone being excluded from overtime because they are part-time. Finally, there's mediation. Similar to conciliation, but often less formal, the law requires that before a case can be heard in a labour court or tribunal, the applicant must. Finally, there's mediation. Similar to conciliation, but a formal route to go. Next up is conciliation. This is when a third party like a business consultant or a lecturer acts as a facilitator to exchange information between the parties in conflict, encouraging them to settle. For example, overcoming someone being excluded from overtime because they are part-time. Finally, there's mediation. Similar to conciliation, but often less formal, the law requires that before a case can be heard in a labour court or tribunal, the applicant must use a mediator. Mediation is where an impartial third party, the mediator, helps two or more people in dispute to reach an agreement. For example, where someone was bullied by their colleague and cannot return to work if that colleague is not disciplined or dismissed. All aspects of dispute resolution are guided by government-backed advisory institutions or legal trade representatives. Understanding a set of processes and complying with the eventual decision is often the only way to resolve a breakdown or disagreement. Employers and employees seek help when they become entrenched in their own position, and the focus is on fighting for principles and ethics instead of negotiating. Something like an unfair dismissal, where a breach of duty or rules is not clear-cut, can be interpreted differently by the employer and the employee, and they believe there is no compromise and have to ask an impartial expert to decide. Whilst people may still feel the decision is unfair to them, and there are appeals processes, it is often the independent outcome needed to break the deadlock. The parties will be expected to abide by this ruling, which may result in implementing changes or some form of compensation or a directive forcing both parties to a form of compromise. Applying rules, weighing up evidence, and considering precedents from other proceedings all helps the independent dispute resolution arbitrator, the lawyer or expert, to come to a fair and just decision. In the event there is a dispute where the company's own policies and systems have been unable to resolve the issue, HR will need to bring in alternatives to resolve those disputes. These alternatives to full-blown court hearings give workplaces a critical, independent perspective and give us rulings that break deadlocks. These proceedings, along with knowing how people behave and the psychology of conflict, objection, and adversity, will help you to understand why breakdowns happen and need dispute resolution processes.
Okay. Hold up. Which of for conflict resolution is the typically least formal? Which process for conflict resolution is typically least formal? If this one is wrong, let me see. I think it's mediation, but I want to make sure. Mediation, okay. Okay. Which level of membership, union members, is typically necessary for employer recognition? 10%, I remember that one. Collaborative decisions are aimed at resolving conflict, and Abigail's division have failed to yield an agreement. What's the next step? Formal negotiation. So all of this, and now we finish.
When we talk about psychological safety, what do we mean and what are its impacts? We know all about healthy, safe workplaces, like wearing protective clothing when using hazardous materials, or a well-ventilated factory, or good lighting in an office. But what about workplaces that appear healthy, but are challenging or even traumatic? By challenging, we mean based on how we behave with each other, making things psychologically unsafe. Psychological safety was...
I'm gonna make me some toast with butter and some jelly after this. Do I got eggs? I don't have bacon, but toast with butter and some jelly and eggs with cheese, scrambled. Lots of cheese.
Coined by Harvard Business School
over easy.
Professor Amy Edmondson, who has researched and written about this concept for over 20 years, resulting in her book, The Fearless Organization. Put simply, it is our belief that we will not be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, or about mistakes. Things like being open and honest with each other, being able to trust your team and managers, being able to learn through mistakes that are not punished by others, but that people help you put things right without being harsh on you. Mistakes aren't always down to carelessness or neglect, but perhaps misunderstanding or even a bad process. Union or formal workplace representation can significantly add to psychological safety because in such environments, people feel free to speak up to their colleagues, knowing there will be an acknowledgement and more procedural rights in that situation. Employees also know that there will perhaps be an additional representation of an issue they feel vulnerable about. If you can raise an important issue with anyone in the company, that is a psychologically safe place. If you feel vulnerable about raising an issue, that is an unsafe environment. They may even feel that raising an issue would single them out and they would be looked at as a troublemaker. Leaders need to focus on creating a climate of safety and inclusion and help employees feel safe to speak out. So they need to first allow people to admit to mistakes. Instead of blame and punishment, they can focus on recovery, repair, and learning. Next, encourage and even formalize ideas and improvements and new ways of doing things, like serving customers or helping colleagues. And finally, look at decision-making across the company and how transparent that is. The more secretive decision-making is, the less understanding people have and the less safe they'll feel about decisions. All of this can be done without revealing trade secrets. Psychological safety can be a hard concept to grasp until we're in a situation where we might feel suddenly vulnerable about speaking up. We may not appreciate things aren't as safe as they seem. Formal employee representative groups can help by creating confidential support and then representing people who feel a sense of fear in raising something important. For example, someone being victimized or bullied by another team member. A psychologically safe organization will use its employee relations policies and processes to enhance the feeling of trust and overcome the challenges of a demanding modern world of work. We know it's important to have engaged employees. So what happens when employees are truly engaged? Well, the truth is engagement can drive influence and change that benefits both employer and employee. With a workplace in the hundreds or larger in the thousands, it is often hard to know what people think about their current job and what might make a difference to the way people apply themselves to their work. This we call employee engagement. Employee engagement surveys are now used in most companies and help employers understand how much people are satisfied, engaged, or even frustrated by the conditions of their work. Employee engagement surveys are anonymous, measured responses to a range of questions like, how proud are you to work here? Are you having regular performance and review conversations with your manager? And what could we do to improve things so you can help the company succeed? This gives employers key information about how people feel and what could be done to improve things for them. Things like too much pressure in the customer support team, no opportunities for promotion in the sales team, and people working from home forgotten about in team meetings and overlooked for interesting project work. Creating more satisfaction and positive experiences could lead employees to being more committed, performing better, and helping the company succeed. For many, the employee engagement survey has become a key annual, and in some cases even quarterly, checkpoint on how things are with their own people. Whilst it's fair to say it's not the only thing that matters, the employee voice and specific collection of information have helped employers plan, change, and improve how things are done in areas like recruitment, internal career promotion, learning opportunities, and charitable work. Of course, the survey also reveals things that the company will want to investigate further, take action on, for example, reports of bullying in the workplace. If an employer fails to act on these insights, it can have a negative effect, as people will feel when given the voice, nothing happens. So apathy or even more disharmony can occur. An entire movement has been created around employee engagement with awards, apps and platforms, surveys and data analysis. Some employees remain suspicious that it is not the transformative thing it could be. so they choose to not respond about sensitive or controversial matters. Yet, combined with union and formal representation, the engagement survey, comments, scores, and reactions give a stronger sense that voice, influence, and action are more likely. Other ways to have representation include, in larger companies, staff networks around disability, gender, age, race and ethnicity, faith, sexual orientation, and caring responsibilities. Such specialist groups help represent people on specific aspects like flexible working for people with caring responsibilities, recruitment techniques for people with disabilities, and selection for career promotion opportunities that do not exclude part-time workers and older colleagues. We've seen a big shift to engagement and the benefits this can bring to a company where people feel able to shape things around them. With progressive companies now introducing employee experiences into how they operate, engagement and voice have a bigger part to play in shaping the company's future operations. As HR professionals, it's our duty to tune into what matters to people and use their voices to shape company policy, ensuring that employees are acknowledged, appreciated, and treated fairly. How can HR practically operate where people bring their voice and influence to a world with open and viral social media posts to tackle a provocative issue in the workplace? The likelihood of people taking matters into their own hands is evident in the social media world, with hashtag-led campaigns like Me Too, Black Lives Matter, and more. People form into campaigning groups, or even as a courageous individual, to take on establishments, governments, and senior figures. However unlikely this might seem in the workplace, people have more options than formal representation and can form into pressure groups or even make an individual stand for something they passionately believe in. Traditionally, HR has occupied a negotiating stance with formal representation, but it's now being thrust into this arena of random groups and individual stances on issues, largely as a result of open social technology platforms. And the damage can happen fast. Apparent injustice can become public before any investigation is conducted and the facts obtained. HR now has to handle a potentially volatile situation more quickly and with more spotlight than before. Take the example of a female coding engineer who shares her experiences of being excluded, prejudiced, and HR's inability to swiftly respond to her formal raising of issues. She then posted a blog that went viral. Company damage is instant, whether or not this is proven. Such a move would be considered brave by many, so the likelihood is there is a case to answer to. Or a senior leader who openly admits in a public forum that he has struggled with pressures and mental health issues and declares his temporary absence at a large conference. Or the forum of workers who come together because they're being ignored for opportunities because they have disabilities. Self-organized groups and solo declarations of wrongdoing aren't the only things to consider. Of course, workers can mobilize and save companies from hard times. Take the engineering company whose CEO had the strength of conviction in his own people that he asked them to consider savings measures during the 2008 financial crash. In their small groups, teams, and factories, they saved over $20 million in a matter of a couple of weeks, keeping the company afloat. They then posted their best ever year in 2010. A true story of voice and influence because they were given the chance to shape things and not just protest or seek justice. Whatever the means, a more inclusive workplace will seek input, voice, and influence wherever it can. People have a range of means to stake their claims outside of formal representation, so HR's role is still one of exploration of facts, negotiation of options, and agreeing solutions. It may be with individuals more than formal representatives. It may be with quickly assembled groups rather than a permanent forum. HR is a key broker in solutions and needs to listen and respond more swiftly than ever. A swift response from your department will help steer the problems voiced so they can be worked on within, not outside of the organization.
Well said. Oh, I'm gonna go with bullying because they were talking about bullying, so it's engagement. Apathy. Hold on. I forgot what that means. Apathy. Lack of interest. Something told me to look it up first. What character is it's this one. Oh, it's this one. This is so different. What does the rise in social media and negotiation should become arbitration, more rapid responses, court rulings will become more important. More rapid responses are required. Arbitration will become less important. Negotiations should become more formal. There we go. Review all answers so I know which one was right. Okay, I'll know that basically when you fill out the quarterly survey, Harriet and her coworkers stroke ain't nothing going to change. And so they have apathy with it. Apathy means that they look bad on the job that they're at. So apathy means looking down and negativity. What character? Oh, I knew that was coming. Hold on. Okay. What characterizes a psychologically unsafe workplace? Fear of being, if you're open and honest, then psychologically the workplace is unsafe. What does a rise in social media? More rapid responses, because people will go to social media and it'll make the company look bad. Last go round.
How do we create a fair, firm, and productive relationship with those who are formally representing
Hold on for a second. Okay, never mind.
How do we create a fair, firm, and productive relationship with those who are formally representing the workforce? By that, I mean guilds, trade bodies, unions, and councils. In larger organizations, there are often many sensitive company-wide issues: pay and benefits, job losses, moving to new locations or mergers, as well as around individuals, such as conduct, grievances against colleagues, or excessive absence. Many would see this as a hostile environment with always opposite views, but increasingly this is not so. The CIPD's 2019 fact sheet on this is clear that there are key skills to take into this sort of situation. Focusing on positive behaviours, taking a proactive problem-solving approach, and recommending ways forward, the more traditional formal negotiating skills are still useful, but needed less often in today's workplace. Building relationships with employees' representatives, unions or staff councils goes beyond the battles of the 1970s and 80s into productive factual ways to overcome challenges faced by organisations and their workforce. This open dialogue marks modern approaches to employee representation. Formal consultation, asking people through unions and workers' councils to vote, can offer constructive dialogue. Issues like mergers, staff policies such as holiday allowances, change priorities, and creating more flexible working conditions would go to more formal consultation. And we sometimes face situations where formal consultation breaks down. That may lead to a strike as a protest or show of opposition to forced changes. Understanding and respecting people's rights to withdraw their labour is protected by legal frameworks, and it is understood as a stand to show there's a big issue to resolve. Negotiating aims to reduce harmful standoffs and work out a deal that requires adapted practices and jointly created solutions. So how can HR professionals work more productively with employee representatives? We need to be strategic and compassionate, balanced and evidence-based, consultative and open. At times of austerity, for example, in public services around the world, HR has had to be involved in cuts, losses, and tightening of purse strings alongside their union or representative counterparts. Often they're faced with tough choices. So instead of battling each other, they work together and focus on reaching agreements. This approach has resulted in a spirited focus on keeping services going and managing the negative impacts on employees. Working in that environment has required brutal honesty over brutal adversity. HR has often had to balance an organisation struggling to cope with people struggling to adapt. We do this through dialogue, facts, and inclusive ways of involving employee representatives as co-creators of solutions. As HR professionals, there will be times when we have to enter into situations where there's tension and conflict, and we'll be required to resolve issues both large and small. Conflict can sometimes cause fear and anxiety, which makes us suspicious and even cautious in what we share, and conflictual situations can have the potential to escalate into legal proceedings or formal industrial action like strikes or walkouts. This would result in HR professionals using their negotiation skills and working through any contentious points to resolve the conflict. In such examples, we need to effectively use evidence and data to analyse the impact of decisions and courses of action. And alongside this, we need to clearly understand the emotional and psychological elements, be it around company-wide issues or something of a more individual nature. A range of behaviours and skills to navigate conflict are worth noting. Firstly, showing you are focusing on only them and being patient when listening and having a sensitive and appropriate pitch, tone, and use of words. Then demonstrating empathy and taking others' perspectives very clearly into account in reaching a decision. Focusing on shared goals and what you agree on, not just where there's disagreement. This will avoid you being overly critical and being more positive in reaching an understanding together. Respecting opinions and appreciating uncertainty or stress that people may be under will be crucial in jointly managing any emotive attachments to issues. These are often skills that would be labelled soft or interpersonal skills, while some would be harder, more analytical and technical skills, like relying on facts, evidence, and data that would support arguments or courses of action. This combination of skills, knowing the reasons for the conflict you're in and showing an understanding of the viewpoints and needs of others, is crucial in building trust so that a solution can be found. Creativity may be needed if this is a new or a complex issue. Equally, where it's a matter of law or facts that are indisputable, such as an evidence breach of company policy, there needs to be a clear understanding that this has to follow a standard approach. But we can use conflict as a means to identify a solution that is fair and appropriate and can be looked at as a natural occurrence to work sensitively with, rather than avoid or over-dramatise conflict. For HR professionals, tough decisions can happen daily and at key times like yearly pay reviews. Confidence, courage, and competence are all needed in equal measure and in different ways. Learning how to conduct yourself in a conflict situation is as important as knowing employment law and HR models and theories.
Well said. Next one.
In many elements of organizational life, we will come across behaviors, actions, and incidents where there appears to be a breach. We may see violations of company codes, ethics, contractual obligations, policies, or processes. Something like an employee falsifying expenses, receiving gifts from clients, or behaving rudely towards others. So how do we handle those types of violations? How does an HR professional deal with inappropriate conduct and discipline? There is normally a chain of events that leads HR to become involved. This is normally some form of report or complaint with evidence. HR then considers the report and evidence and takes action depending on the situation. For example, if there's a dangerous situation like a physical assault on a colleague, HR immediately acts to create safety for all involved. Or if there is a need to suspend someone whilst awaiting an investigation, that is acted upon. It could be a situation where there is a potential loss or damage to company reputation, information, or customer or client confidentiality. That too is taken care of swiftly. Where the matter of safety is not threatened, but there is still a breach of conduct, a less immediate but prioritised process is followed, often involving interviews, evidence gathering, and then formalised conduct meetings with those involved. Most companies have a conduct and disciplinary policy. It provides assurance that where there are high-risk situations, the company has a process and people understand that it is there to protect the company, its people, its clients and partners, and is linked to employment law. A conduct and disciplinary policy would normally ensure all employees are treated fairly, equally, and in compliance with the law. Set standards of conduct so employees know what is expected of them. Try to resolve issues informally or internally rather than through a costly tribunal. And demonstrate that a legal disciplinary process has been used in the event an issue does go to an employment tribunal. Conduct and disciplinary policies apply to two areas. Misconduct, for example, sexually harassing a colleague in the workplace or failing to report an accident in a company vehicle. And performance and capability, which includes attendance and absence. So an employee is held responsible if they're not performing work to appropriate standards or if they're being absent without due cause. If the matter reported to HR is considered worthy of a disciplinary process, this would involve specific steps. First, informal resolution, where someone has acted completely out of character, such as refusing to work in a way a manager is asking for. Secondly, clear communication. If a more formal disciplinary process is required, then the first step should be a letter to the employee. Your letter should inform the employee they are being disciplined and give the reasons why. You then set up a meeting to discuss the issue, giving the employee at least 3 days' notice before the scheduled meeting. Remind them of the disciplinary process and expectations set for all involved. And to prepare for the disciplinary meeting, HR should investigate the matter thoroughly. Throughout this process, you should keep detailed records of your investigation and the procedure. Meeting with the employee would be the next step. Having investigated the issue, you should meet to share your findings and hear the employee's side of the story at the disciplinary meeting. Other people, representatives, may be invited to this hearing in line with open and fair protocols. And finally, you decide the outcome. After making a decision, you should write to the employee stating the reasons for the outcome and how they could appeal. There could be no further action, a formal written warning, or dismissal. It's important to know that employees have the right to appeal against any disciplinary action. Conduct and discipline is a necessary aspect of HR policies that most professionals hope to never have to use. And when they do, it's to protect the organisation and all people linked to them, customers, partners, and ultimately all employees.
Howard is in the middle of an escalating a conflict between manager and labor. What sort of approach to facilitation should Howard avoid? Tom.
With so many new ways to define
Go
work
back,
and the person doing the work.
Hold on. Listening points of disagreement. That gotta be it. Okay, next question. What should the first step after exhausting the possibility of informal notify the Yeah, I heard that too. Which terms best describe the current productive working relationship between human resource and employee representatives? Cooperative.
With so many new ways to define work and the person doing the work as not just an employee, what can HR professionals expect from the so-called future of work? We live with and work with a range of fast changing applications of digital technology in our world. With this comes new challenges to protecting people's rights as workers, agents, and employees. Recent court rulings across the world are beginning to clarify a new wave of ways of working. For example, in the UK, drivers have successfully challenged Uber to become classed as workers and are entitled to minimum wage and holiday provision under UK employment law. Platform or gig working, such as Uber drivers, GitHub coders, Fiverr designers, have come under scrutiny by lawyers, union officials, and workers alike. In some cases, employees' movements are tracked by GPS devices and even implanted chips. These devices remove the need for security passes to buildings and IT systems, but they have also been challenged as an invasion of privacy and overbearing scrutiny by an employer on its employees. The lines we thought we were working within are being redrawn as digital technology in particular creates challenges and new frontiers that call for some employment rights protection. Unions, worker councils, and representative trades bodies have had to adjust to these new demands and challenges as much as employees themselves. And many cases are now test or precedent setting in new areas like the classification of an employee or a contractor, or intrusive technologies in monitoring worker behaviours. What the next 5, 10, or 20 years holds for employee relations is not an easy prediction to make. What is clear is that union or representative bodies have been given a new field to work with, where technology giants, creative entrepreneurs, or well-intended but somewhat unethical leaders create new ways for work to be done that challenge traditional working agreements and contracts. Test cases of employers accidentally publishing every worker's salary rates, unfair treatment of female code engineers, and walkouts based on political views have proved that the new titans of business have some way to go before they are fair and legal in all respects of work. It's becoming clear that adapted versions of traditional agreements on fairness, benefits, and working conditions are being used. It is also good for the creation of new laws, protection rights, clear practices, and to ensure there are ethics, morals, and values included in our new ways of working, with artificial intelligence, machine learning, robots, new virtual and augmented technologies, and the likelihood that much of the work people do will be digitized and automated. I would offer that employee relations is becoming as important as it was in its industrial roots, and perhaps human-to-human relations will be added to with human-to-cyborg relations. Companies are getting bigger. Technology is dominating agendas and investment, and the demands on employees are getting tougher. Technology is becoming more intrusive in our lives and our work, whilst becoming the focal point in getting work done more efficiently, whilst case law is emerging to ensure the ethics and morals are balanced and rights protected. Employee relations, far from being a relic of the industrial past, is helping bring clarity and security to an uncertain future of work.
Hold up. Wait. Now what? Okay. I'm going to read the next one tomorrow, but I read the right one. I want to see what I got to read for that. Sorry. I want to see what I read for that. Good. It's different. Learning objectives. Okay. I can't wait to dig into you tomorrow. Cool. More reading. Good. This is what I need to do that test. This is more introduction to the law. So I'll go back. I want to be nice and fresh. So just do my discussion because it's on a discussion. Okay, put this down here. Alternative dispute resolution. Good. I have to read it. After this, I'm getting off of here. Contact Wikipedia and see why he's been so rude. He's a very rude person. That was very nasty of him to do that to me. Alternative, and it's from Wikipedia. Alternative dispute resolution refer. What? What? Okay, I'm just gonna put a anyway. Alternatives dispute refers outside the courtroom. These settlements are negotiated by legal counsel representing the company. There are several types of ADR depending on the dispute, which are what? Mediation. We focused on mediation, arbitration, which is formal, and neutral evaluation, which is like formal. These settlements are negotiated by legal counsel. There are several types. The federal government, large business, small business can all benefit from resolving complaints this way. If your company has good corporate governance, okay. I'm not going to choose Tesla no more. Thank you so much, Tesla, for allowing me to I could and build up enough information so when I do go for my doctorates, I sit up there and what is it? I can't believe I just did that. I just copy and paste it off the LinkedIn website. Let me see something real quick. Hold up. That's why I hate stopping. Let me just finish this real quick and then I'll go to LinkedIn. Anyway, select one type of ADR. Provide an example of a business dispute that would use this type. How can using this type mitigate concerns? I'm going to go with mediation. First, I'm going to read more about it a little bit, just so I can have it. And I'm going to do versus arbitration. Okay, we're dealing with a collaborative settlement versus someone that don't have much say, arbitration. Hi, Detective Hammond. Detective Hammond. Thank you for liking my stuff. I appreciate your support, dude. Or detective, homicide detective. Provide an example. A business dispute. A business dispute. I'm not used to writing like this. Ooh, I got one. Ba-bing, ba-boom. Ooh, 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 ooh. My business. What happened with me? Blue Cloud Cleaning. Nobody knows the whole story, how I was used. And nobody's going to believe it, what happened to me. But here's my time to tell the truth about what happened to me and how I lost my business. It was my husband collaborated in on it, which he did not care, but Steven from Janpro took my businesses. He found the perfect opportunity and lied and said that I wasn't doing my businesses right. I had several businesses. So we can talk about mediation with that. Let's see. This is an true example of what happened to me with my business. Blue Cloud. I cannot wait to call them tomorrow. I'm going to say that I'm trying to buy some media time or something, and then I'm going to tell them what happened and how I can get in touch and how I tried to reach out. That's the only way. Blue Cloud Cleaning Company, LLC, was a thriving business making 100,000, let's just say almost. Because if they check the record, they're going to be like, it wasn't 100,000. I was going to start. I put down 10,000 for 100,000, and he could not fulfill his contract. And when I sat up there and told him the truth, which was my husband cheated, he knew it. He knew what was going on. And Janpro in Wilkesboro, I would not recommend it. Somebody even complained. He gave me the contract, the huge contract, which was a $4,000 a month contract, and I had $3,000 a month for another 3 contracts. It was crazy. He couldn't fulfill it. I only grossed, let's be honest, $75,000 from that contract that year. The manager at Janpro couldn't fulfill, because it was such a small town, fulfill the whole contract. I tried everything. He found the perfect opportunity to damage my name since I was getting in the paper more and more. My husband cheated on me with one of my employees, and I told him. So he said, I think I'm going to take your contracts, all of them. Hand in the keys, or you will be charged. I need an exclamation point. I was furious. Even his lawyer said in so many words that it was messed up. When I tried to dispute it, I even put him on to the Better Business Bureau, and with no relief, nothing happened. He fulfilled some of the contract and tried to say he fulfilled all of it. I worked hard, very hard at my job. I never came in late. I checked what my employees did. Everything was good until my husband gave him an opportunity to fire me. So I blame both of them. Now, I would choose mediation, because I feel like in this example, there should have been a mediator that was in between both parties without being fired. I never was rude or mean or nasty. I just continued to get in the paper more and more. And if needed be, come to an arbitration where the law or judge decides what the outcome would be. Because honestly, he made it hard for me. Okay. Okay. This is a true example of what happened to me with my business. Blue Cloud Cleaning Company LLC was a thriving business making almost $100,000 a year. I only grossed 75 from that contract that year. The manager at JanPro couldn't fulfill the whole contract. I tried everything he found, everything to convince the assistant to have Steve give me back the keys, but he found the perfect opportunity to damage my name, comma, since I was getting in the newspaper more and more by Dylan Kivo with Authority Titans. My husband cheated on me with one of my employees and got her pregnant while we worked together one night. I remember. I knew they were messing. I knew something happened because the energy. She said to me, y'all, she said to me, would you mind if I be a surrogate mother to your husband? I looked at her like, because he wanted me to have a baby so bad. And I was so hesitant. I was like, no. We're too busy. Two, I wanted to get surgery at the time, but I was big, and they were wondering what was taking so long. That was $18,000, which I got it back because I never did the surgery. But dang, man, I was like, what is going on? So I said no, and she just left it alone. But it's what she did, because this was a large. I'm not talking about a McDonald's contract, or this is a large building. A large building. And when I say it had four sections: up, up, down, down. If I'm doing a section by myself, I had him doing one section, her doing one section. First we were doing it together, but I sent her off because she was so young-minded and naive. I will never do it. If I ever get employees, I'm going to thoroughly check them. I was so eager to get some employees. She was over here. She never listened, but she was over here. I was over here. He was underneath. And somehow they ended up connecting downstairs. Now, while that's going on, I'm cleaning. I'm focused on cleaning and getting the contract fulfilled. So she comes outside the room and bends over, right? And looks at him and smiles. And he smiles back. And then he just continuously, I didn't sleep with her. Nothing happened. And it's funny because when I was at McVet, that was the same thing we used to do. I'm just being honest. So you got McVet, that type of position, sneaking and doing it. And I know his MO. Then I found kitty porn on his phone, and he tried to kill me. I don't ever want y'all ladies to have to go through this. He did something where he put something up my nose and I couldn't breathe for a whole minute. I looked at him, he looked at me, and he's just watching me die. So I started sleeping on the floor trying to gather up. It wasn't the Lomax I knew. I started sleeping on the floor trying to figure out a way to contact the FBI. He had a bloody feather downstairs in the garage, and he put a gun to my head. Then he put a gun to my head, went downstairs and pulled the trigger and got away with it. This is a Democrat law. He pulled the trigger downstairs, it's on the ring device, and he got away with it. He hired a lawyer, he had family, he got away with it. I said, I don't want nothing. He kept telling me I had him recorded, and I have it recorded on my Kimberly Cloud Show 38 shows. I don't know where it's at, but I'll find it for you guys. He sat up there. I recorded him, and I don't care if it was illegal or not. He deserved to be put on blast. I said to him, he was saying, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't sleep. Now, mind you, I made a confirmation when her friend that works for me, because I fired Desiree, and her friend that works for me, they were cool. And so she just randomly texted me, said, Desiree said, your husband said that her stuff tastes really good that night. Randomly. And I have it on my page, the text messages, my old page. And it broke my heart to see that. So I recorded him. Said, I know you did with Desiree. That's why I'm leaving you. I didn't even want to go I called the police in Mountaintop so many times. I didn't want to be in the same house with him with all those weapons. We had 40 weapons. That's overkill. 9mm, Dracos, assault rifles. What for? He has me taking pictures with assault rifles. I didn't really want to do it, but hey, that's my husband. I'm just chilling. I knew how to use it. I was prior to the military, and we used to go shooting at the range. But then it started getting worse and worse. Every week we were up at the gun shop, getting an altered weapon. And I had a permit to carry. Never shot, didn't go to shoot Desiree, didn't go to shoot my other employee. I didn't even think about that. I turned in my weapons to the state troopers so I can leave Pennsylvania. I did not sit up there. I know the law. I obey the law. So something went up my nose, and I'm choking, and I'm watching him watch me. And after this happened, I slept on the floor. My cat used to sit at the edge of the bed. Never did that before, named Fonzie. He took Fonzie and everything. That broke my heart. Out of all that relationship, that broke my heart. So every time he would get up, I see he would look at me funny, like he's trying to do it again. So I started staying at hotel rooms, and that's how the process started with me staying at hotel rooms. It was terrible. Steve found the perfect opportunity. And so what else happened? After that happened, and I found the kiddie porn, I took both of his laptops. And I went to the FBI in Philadelphia. I said, there is kiddie porn on this, because I put two and two together. I said, why do he have all these laptops? He's not conducting no business. His Xbox has two women kissing on it. And he has all these pictures of women, that random naked pictures of women and pictures of women. Then it started, once I got off of Suboxone, I was on like 8 milligrams of Suboxone. Once I got off of Suboxone, I started noticing little cues. This one African-American woman, we were at a restaurant, and she was rubbing him on his hand. That was inappropriate, but I was so zooted on Suboxone, I didn't even care. And this is how he got away with it, because I was too zooted off of drugs. And now you know. So he tried to kill me twice. He slept with my employee. He slept with his doctor. She was inappropriate. All the 11, 12, or however long I've been with him, I was with him since 2013 up into 2020. All that time he was cheating on me with random women that I knew. He got off on that. And he would brag to his boys at McVet, and they would commend him and pat him on the back like that crap was cool. That's why it's all good. It's all good in the hood. Karma is going to come back to bite everybody that's involved that acknowledged and joked about cheating on me when I never touched another dude the whole time we were together. Karma is going to come back. You almost ruined my life and killed me. And you're getting away with it with nearly $7,000 a month you make because of me putting in the work, blood, sweat, and tears to get you your retirement pay and get you all types of extra pay on your paycheck. I hope you got in trouble. I put in, and I'm going to call him again to see what's going on. You don't deserve to have my kids on your VA check. What is wrong with you? I told them. I couldn't believe I heard that. You are greedy. You wanted my money so you could gamble. Had I died that night, both nights, you would have took my money so you can gamble. You and your mother and your brother. Sickening. It's sickening, man. This isn't just made up. This is some sick crap. And that's why I don't believe in, I have a choice. And now you know why I want to integrate and get out of the African-American realm of dating. They get jealous. Some white men get jealous too, but I'm not with them. I'm talking about in relationships. You know who I am. You know I'm not trying to make you jealous. I'm just trying to make it. You know my past, and you still got jealous. That hurt me bad. While you're up, laying up with Desiree, I'm going from hotel room to hotel room, wondering if I'm going to get raped or killed. Even the best hotel rooms, these attendants that clean up, if they see you alone, they're going to sit up there and try to watch you and go through your stuff. Then I was raped again at a shelter. Thank you, Lomax. You're pathetic. Anyway, back to school. Come to arbitration where the judge decides what the outcome would be, because honestly, he made it hard for me purposefully. That rhymes. You got your baby. You're a pedophile, man. You used to urinate around children, and I got on you every time, and I did not catch on to the cues until I saw the kitty porn. And when I recorded him, I told him everything, and he was yelling. And when I said, I know about the kitty porn, he's like, I don't know what you mean. I don't have any kitty porn, man. He tried to keep like he know he's been asked before about that. He tried to, because the FBI have a type of device. It's like a lie detector that if I've called the FBI and they done hung up on me before. No lie. And I'm okay with that because some don't believe it. I'm on the list where if I call and give my name, which I know they call ID. If I call and give my name, sometimes they hang up on me and I have to call them back to get another district. And they can tell when you're telling the truth. They have a system so it is like a lie detector, a truth detector, based on how I sound, if I'm yelling. And they sent in an informant while I was in jail. They sent in a couple informants, but this informant let me know he was a Russian informant, and he let me know because I can explain all that happened. When you change your tone, I can hear the tone that he was lying. And when you call the FBI, they don't play that crap. And when I'm telling the truth and they hang up on me, it just enrages me. I call right back. And I haven't been to jail because of it. Because I know I'm telling the truth. So I just stay at a distance and I write them because it makes me laugh. When they hear my voice, they got voice recognition, they got all types of gadgets. I know they do. And some people, I'm on like a do not disturb list where they say the FBI don't want to F with you no more, basically. But it's okay. It's because they know they're watching. Basically, they're telling me they're watching me. Why the heck are you calling us when we're watching you already? And it's only so much they can do. It's only so much they can do. But they weren't watching me partially because I was in a different city when I went to jail than Seattle. They sent me to another city. I forgot where. And so I called them from where I was. One hung up on me and I called them back. I said, what the F is wrong with you guys? They're doing some weird S here. I said, I am being poisoned. And so they sent an informant in and he treated me with respect. Like a week later, they sent in a Russian. He was the only one that helped me. No lie. He helped me get my towels, my linens, everything. We grew close. He was a white man and we grew close. His name was Patel. And he was Russian. He had a deep accent. And the way he always watched over me, before he was there, nobody was watching me. Nobody cared. And when he got there, he was the only one watching over me. When he took break, weird stuff happened. When he was off a break, it did not happen. I appreciate him. I owe him my life. I know he was an agent. If you don't believe me, right before I left, I said, I hope you enjoy, because a week after I called the FBI, he was there. Then they didn't know I called. They just think I'm crazy. They always think I'm crazy. Week later, he came with another probably informant, but it was morning time for her, but he was at night. So what happened was, as soon as I was getting ready to leave to go back to the jail to be housed until I leave in this January, he was like, I'm leaving. I said, when are you leaving, Patel? He's like, in 2 weeks. I said, no way. He threw me the hint that he was just there for me. Because he never told me. We had long conversations. I know when they're around. That's why they don't show up unless it's a super emergency. It was a setup, man. By the bad FBI. And the good ones were coming in. It's a war going on between the good FBI and the crooked FBI. Y'all just don't know, man. People in the FBI that are crooked are getting paid by highly damaging political figures to damage people who like Trump. Some people that like Trump don't even know what's going on or how they're being damaged. I'm not naming no names. I work hard, very hard. What's the question again? And one last thing before I finish this. He will always, when I go to the police on him, say that I have mental health issues. He moved to Pennsylvania for her. He knew her before me. No, he knew her, and she was 10 years his senior. But when we went to the police together, he will always use my mental health. He will always use my mental health. He wanted me locked up indefinitely, just like Yvette did, just like Ruby did, just like, and I will never forgive them. Just like Jessica did, just like Melvin did, just like Ramon did, just like everybody that I know. That is sick, man. I don't want nothing to do with y'all. Period. If your company has good corporate governance, it typically means there is a strong relate. Like your family would want you to be free and figure out an intervention. No, my dad never intervened me, give me an intervention when I was doing drugs. Instead, he joined me with my ex-husband. Yvette made me go crazy, and Jesse made me go crazy by giving me methamphetamine. I didn't pick up on it while I was on drugs. I was just angry, but I knew something was wrong. And I guarantee you, when I get those hospital records, it's going to say I had some meth in my system. And that's how I'm going to prove my point. Y'all are some sick people. Y'all did me dirty. That much. You could have helped me in everything. You could have helped me in everything. Instead, you made it hard for me. You treated me like crap. I couldn't even speak. When I spoke, it was like it all came out different, because it's like you thought you were better than me. Fine, be better. But you sat up there and you made me. I didn't even want to talk around y'all. I didn't even want to be myself. I didn't know who I was. I couldn't identify with myself or nothing. Then y'all collaborated together, you and Ruby. I will never call you. You butt dialed me twice. Lomax's mother butt dialed me once. You know that's not a butt dial. I don't want nothing to do with you grandmothers and you women. Y'all are sick. Y'all need to know what it feels like to be locked up in a psychiatric ward. And not know why for a month. If your company has good corporate governance, it typically means there's a strong relationship with stakeholders. And you got what you wanted. You got my kids. You got a grandchild. Fine. You got what you wanted. You're going to have to live with it when God rewinds the tape of how you performed all these things. And that's all I'm going to say. I got God by my side. You go to church every Sunday. You have your little cookouts. Do what you want. But you're going to have to own up to God when you sat up there and you put meth in my system, you and Jesse. Ruby, you took my son away from me. Yvette, you took my children away from me. Lomax's mother, Valerie, you were a part of the scheme of trying to have me dead. And all of y'all are being investigated. I was a good mother. Your son was a crappy father. Now he takes pictures with his children to make it seem like he's a good father. Who cares about a picture? Perform. I was doing all the work. You was out effing women. And you probably still doing it. She's a dummy for being with you. You found a good dummy. The federal government, large businesses, and small businesses can benefit. And I'm done with it. I'm finally done. I got it off my chest. It deserved this brought back, and it's therapeutic for me to do this because it's like nobody listens to my story. When I say I like white men, it's like, boo-hoo, you just a Candace Owens. You just want to be rich real quick. You just want to F a white man. And I'm like, it's none of your business what I want to do, but I'll tell you, I would like a good white man to marry. He don't have to be rich, but he has to be sane and smart and have ambitions and have a job. I look up to powerful white men and black men for your information, like Damon John. And for your FYI, Damon John has an Asian woman. So he probably understands why I say that. Let me finish this out strong, man. It all started. Select one type of ADR. I selected what? Mediation. Mediation is non-formal. It's basically when both parties agree upon a solution. But if arbitration is needed, then we can arbitrate an agreement. But here's the deal. If they can't come to a conclusive agreement, it's no longer in their control what the agreement going to be. It's just based on the evidence and what their suggestions are in the way of the law. Who from the business would need to be involved? Steve would need to be involved. Now, if, like I said, mitigation does not work out, then which it wouldn't, which it wouldn't, which it would not. Steve would need to be involved, involved now. Steve would need to be involved now if, like I said, mitigation does not work out, which it would not, because verbally he did not agree to me getting, which he did not agree to me getting, which it would not, because verbally he did not agree to me getting the keys back. Thank you. I will make 2 substantial reports over 2 consistent days. This is going to be challenging but fun. Thanks, Teach. Thanks, Doctor. Well, Esquire. Doctor. Teacher. What is his name? Joseph Caulfield. Caulfield. Take care of team. Knowledge check. I'll do that tomorrow, but I'm going to do two things tomorrow. Get it out the way because this is difficult but easy. I know what I have to do. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'll do the two substantial discussions. That way, they won't say I'm doing it all together because you can't do it all together. You have to do it on over 2 days. Do Thursday. Oh, I'm glad I noticed that. I forgot it's due by Thursday. So it'll be Wednesday and Thursday. I do that. And then the government structures and readings. We have how many sections? Look at it again. We have 12 sections, which is going to take roughly an hour. And I'm just going to dig into one real quick. See how I look. You got a video. I want to know how many pages. Oh, it's 1 page per section. Okay, I can work with that. And then you got a 38-minute video, 38-second video. What is this? Bill of Rights, due process. These are the most important things for me to learn because they're on a test. And they talk about different, and I need this for myself to run for city council. I'm not a perfect person, but I know the law based on how much I educated myself and what I've been through. I know psychiatry, I know law, and I listen to people's stories. If you can't have empathy or sympathy for somebody's story, you don't deserve to be in psychiatry or a lawyer. Not a robot. And I want to run for city council because I want to help people. I have sympathy and empathy for people in their situations. This is going to be fun. I get to learn about the U.S. Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, District, Bankruptcy, Federal Court Claims, International Trade, Veterans Trade, Tax Court, Court of Appeals of the Armed Forces, Military Review, that's where I was. And the Veterans Boards of Appeals, that's where I was. And they helped me, and I'm forever indebted to them. Army Review Board, you're going to be proud of me. I may be a little kinky, not in that way, but my intentions are good. And you know it. That's why you gave me my honorable. Everybody else was trying to make me look bad. What is it about me? I don't know, and I don't want to know no more. Okay. What else? You know what? I still got time. What I can do is my last article, and I'm going to start doing article blasts where I go to 200 websites, including ABC, NBC, and CBS. So that's how I'm going to keep in contact with you, news anchor. And when you have a situation, when you finally get that squared away with, where is it? New York Billboard, I'll be ready. I'm going to take a nice picture, professional picture. Also, y'all got to watch this with me. Hold on. I'm going to look up who does professional flag and state flag pictures. Hold on, David. Don't get mad. Pictures. Come on. Where do you go to take a state flag and United States flag picture? I should ask that woman. Let me look her up real quick. I'm thinking government picture agencies. No, that's not what I want. All right. I'm gonna find it. I can't go to JC Penney thinking I'm gonna get that. Government agencies that take professional pictures. Hold on. There's no way. They're in DC. Okay. I know who to ask. Hold on. This is going to mean a lot to me. Hello, Matthew. Sorry. I know he's going to be mad to bother you, but I wanted to know who I can go through to have the picture with the flag and the state flag background taken. I cannot go to JC Penney to have it done, but I would be willing to drive to Olympia if that's where they are located. Thanks. Good night. What else? Oh, go to my emails. I am not deleting them. I'm when I'm off camera, I'm gonna make sure he is not getting an answer from me. All I'm gonna put is I want a refund. I want a refund now. All jokes aside, nothing more. Or this is going on the news. Okay. News anchor. I'm not doing nothing else. Take a late shower. This is my last go round. I'm gonna miss you guys, news anchor. I hate that I'm leaving you, but I'll be back. I'll be back. Oh, here it is. Start order. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Please let me be able to get through. There we go. New article. I have a lot to say. No. Maybe I should do this tomorrow because I want to thoroughly write this. I gotta put KKNW in. What else? Are you writing an article for a person or business? I know it's a business. That's not an SAT question, but I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna put. You guys, I gotta sit up there and think about what I'm gonna put. How I'm gonna start off first. I gotta make sure I say to myself, who means the most in the hostess? So write down what has happened so far. I have a new job at KKNW. KKNW, 11:50 a.m. Alternative Radio Talk Radio. What else? What else, Kim? What have I accomplished last month? I'm going to put you, Mafaro. Even if you don't do my thing. I'm going to put Katie's name. Let me start writing these names down. Mafaro. Majuro. Beck Katie. What is his podcast called? Hold on. Oh, I'm so sorry, Katie. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I just read it. I thought it was something totally different. Brain Magazine. What is his podcast? I gotta go on Matchmaker. I don't feel like looking at emails yet. I will in a second. Let me just type in his name. Mufaro Majuru. Oh God, please don't say you gotta be Majuru. Oh God. Shoot. Mufaro Majuru. Oh, fiddlesticks. I have to, he's in the front, so I can find him pretty cool. I seen him. His face is on there. I'll just keep looking until I find him. He's just starting out. Here we go. Halopolis Radio, Johannesburg, South Africa. I don't care. He did a good job for his couple times. Halopolis Radio. And that's his name. Brains Magazine executive contributor. What else? I possibly got another podcast coming up. I think I got to talk to him tomorrow. I probably have to talk to him while I'm driving. No, I look at the messages. I won't write them back today, though. What happened? I'll do that later. Okay, good. I got 4. Good. 4 people that's willing to do it. Okay. I'll get back with them on an up and up tomorrow. So I got him. I found him, Mafaro, Majaro. Jonesburg. Let me write that down. Jonesburg, South Africa. Okay, go to him and tell him I'm putting him in the paper. I am putting you in the state paper because you were a wonderful person. How y'all spell person? Oh, Lord Jesus. You're wonderful. You are. Saying were is kind of assaulting. Keep upping your craft. Oh, I hate when I do that. Your craft. When the paper is out, I'll send you the link. Thanks. Hey, Katie, I'm putting your name and what's his name? Nathan Miller name on in the paper for helping me like you have. You have probably already been in the paper, but my appreciation goes out to you for doing my article for me. This is what I do, promote, and I cannot wait until Friday. Take care. XOXOXO. You and Nathan. Sorry again. Oh, and who's who? Who's who? 2025. I forgot what they said. Let me find that. ACP 2. I'm gonna be mentoring next month. Where is it at? Oh, here she go. Good. No, that's not it. Where you at, sweetie? Who's who? Who? Here we go. I apologize. Is this it? This is how all What is this? Oh, let me write this down. 10 a.m. tomorrow. Wait. Oh, let me still write. I have a podcast on Thursday, July 25th at 10 a.m. Let me write it down. And it's a roundtable talk. I cannot wait. Roundtable talk. So glad that he had it up. Where are you at? Oh my God, tomorrow I have to go see Miss Yearly. Oh, tomorrow I have another pre-interview at 8:30. Wednesday. He'll call me. Good. I'll be on the road. On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. Where is it at? Oh, you see how the devil works? Every time it's something. Where is it at? Lord Jesus, please help me find it. Oh, they emailed me from somewhere else, I think. Let me try to look it up. Who's who? Oh, yeesh. Why isn't it doing nothing? Oh, yeesh. What is going on with my email? This isn't right. This isn't right at all. I don't even remember the lady name. I did not delete it. Let me go in my trash. It's not deleted. Go slow. I think just keep going. It was in the first mailbox. I hate when it's junk mail. Next time, tomorrow, I'm going to be ready for it. Wait, hold up. There it is. Thank the Lord. What? What just happened? Jacquees. I think her name is Jacquees. No. This is crazy, man. All these emails. Marquise who's who. That's why I ain't finding nothing. Lord Jesus, please help me. Oh my God. It's in here. I know it is. This is what I mean. I do my research. I'm doing my research so I can make sure I have a good paper, a legit paper. Oh, that's her name. All these daggone junk mail. I'm going to be ready for them. What is it? Oh my God. It will be published in 2026. That's so long. But it's worth it. And I may have to do it again, upgrade it to my biography by then. Where's Who's Who 2025, which will Perfect Time be published in Q1 of 2026. Oh, and the Telly Awards. I win a Telly Award. Telly Award. Telly Award. The Telly Awards. That's May 2025. This is what I mean. I got a headache. Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. I'm going to give her a shout out too. Jade, now that I know her name, it was not Jacqueline. Nigelia. And who did I speak to about ADP? What's this? I'm gonna get all those people that been emailing me. I'm gonna get to y'all. I promise you. I promise you. I need at least 2 hours with you guys. What contestants? I done spoke about a lot of people like Will Roberts, DC Glenn, and a lot of good people. But what people? Oh, bam! I just had her on my show. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Sabrina Oso. And who else? David Dawson. What was David? Oh, Mike. Okay. Mike has been looking out for me. Sabrina Oso. She has Oso. I'll do it tomorrow morning. I have to wake up early because I got to do this for Sabrina and Noah too. I'm not going to put him in the paper, but I'm going to help him and talk to Matthew about him. Like I said, I got a strict list. I told him I was going to try to help him. I'm not banging, like, I don't have like people, so many people, but what I do know is that if he can help him, he will. Where is this? Mike Hammond. Mike Hammond been writing me like crap. Oh, Google Panel. I'm getting in the process of getting a Google Panel. approved. What else? I'm going to delete this one. Who is Dave Dotson? I'd rather go to my library and look at their faces. Where's Dave Dotson? Oh my God. He was very smart. Very, very well-rounded person. Yeah, I'm going to take his advice. Once I get settled and get a pattern to include books into my daily life, but I'm always virtual. Also safe. And I know what it's about now. Who else? All of these are about me. When it's about me, I delete them. Fiddlesticks. So also safe. Let me write her and tell her I'm going to put her in the paper. Where is she at? I'm going to put you into the paper as well. Because this is my story. Putting people, talking about myself and telling them who I'm meeting along the way. When the link is ready, you will see it. Just talking about myself, they get the same crap. What else? Who else did I interview? Monday was a drag. Oh, I can't wait to interview him again. Dr. What's his name? Dr. what? Kabbalah. I know who I'm doing. Doug Crow. And that's it. And I'll rotate. That's how I'm going to do it. And when I do these news blasts, man, news blasts, it's kind of hit or miss because sometimes if they, certain websites, this is radio companies, this is everywhere in like small towns in North Carolina, big towns, small things, big things. And it's really cool, man. So now I got the Google panel trying to get on TikTok. I should complain. TikTok been ignoring me. What else? I got called Doug Newsom. Doug Newsom has been helping tremendously. I never forget about you, Doug. I'll call you tomorrow. Who is going to be the lucky guest to get a 3 p.m. slot on the BBS radio tomorrow? What's tomorrow? The third? Third is the bird. Sid Mohasi. 3 p.m. Who is this? Melanie Warner. Let me see who this is. View on Facebook. Okay. I don't know what to do. I'll figure that out if I want to do the other one for April 3rd, Sid Mohaspe. I'm not saying I don't like her and see people going out on the ramp, but we had some correspondent and I was kind of confused at what she was saying. She thought she was paying for it, and I'm building my portfolio, and it just came off kind of weird, but I'm still going to interview her. I'm still going to, do the right things. It's just I'm looking to see who it will be on the radio. I mean, the radio station. I want to invest my time in somebody that understands that they will be on a radio and, you know, and stuff. I have 11 platforms, so either way it go, they'll get their publicity. He took the time out to make this appointment. I think I'm going to choose him. And I'm going to write him tomorrow morning. I have to get up at 5. I have to get up at 5. It sucks. I'm going to do the new article. Hold on. The name of your brand. I'm just going to start writing now. I don't know what the title. I love it, Article Genie, when you choose the title. You are so amazing. Y'all news anchor people, I'm showing them this because this may be me writing and y'all revising it by AI technology, but this crap right here saves a lot of time and a lot of, like, back in the day you just had a typewriter. Back in the day you just had a pen and a piece of paper or a pencil and a piece of paper. Imagine doing a dissertation with just a pencil and a piece of paper. A lot of erasing. So I'm going to hit continue. What should the article focus on? Don't get mad, y'all. I want to make sure this is nice and beautiful. I'm only on the third one. So when I wake up at 5, I'm going to get in the shower, get dressed, new face, whatever, beat my face, not get a restraining order for beating my face, but I'm going to beat my face, and I'm going to do this project with you guys. It'll be 6, 7, 8 over there, and take care of this. So probably 4:30. If I wake up at 4:30, I'm getting in the shower. So yeah, too easy. I can't focus right now, and I want to make sure this is right, whether it's being AI technology redoing it or not. I want to make sure I get all this in there, all of it. Tomorrow I got to pay my credit card bill before I forget. Yeah, it's going down. That's my last bill I got to pay. You got to pay that. Got to take care of them credit card bills. What just happened? And plus my battery life is low, even though I can plug it in still. It's not going down tonight. I want to do it, but I need to early to bed, early to rise, make Kimmy healthy and wise. I can't wait to get to these important topics. My phone be blowing up through the night, and that's why I be waking up in the middle of the night, because let's see, it be so many people. Let me see. I can't wait for them to find a new distributor so I can be in the what is it? The rotating in the New York what is it? I just said it. That's what I mean when I say I'm not thinking straight. I'm tired. Been up since 6 o'clock. So anyway, the lights are on, people looking in like, who that is? Who that is? She got a dress on. Who that is? Who that is? No, seriously, I gotta go. um, Yeah. I love you guys. Seriously. Thank you for taking the time out to always watch over me. And you don't have to like anything. I understand why. And I know I got some good people and bad people on here, but to the good people, thank you. You know, Mike. Oh, I forgot to write down your name. Detective Mike Hammond. So we got Sabrina also, Doug Crow, Doug Newsom. I'm gonna talk about K and the okay, I know how I'm gonna start. Mike, detective, retired detective Mike Hammond, and spectacular. He didn't do much. Not dissing him for people to be like, see, there she go. The daggone guy liked her crap and she's dissing him. I'm not dissing him. I'm saying all he did was like what I supported him, and that's what I want to do is to support any race. He's doing big things, man. This is a millionaire we're talking about. Millionaires don't like super millionaires. It's like crawling up a ladder in front of a bunch of people, but trying to get their attention. Hello, hello, hello. But spectacular, he's a millionaire that's engaging in his own uh that's why he's so different, because he engaged in his own social media platforms like Damon John do the same thing, you know. So when you do that, you see the people who support you. And I support Spectacular 100%. Yes, it costs. The first episode is nothing but information, his backstory of what happened to him and how he lived to get him to Pretty Ricky, that got him to doing big things, but it costs to do it. And if I had the money, I would do it. But he sent me his cheat sheet. And I got a little bit far with it. I've been doing things based on the cheat sheet that he sent me. So why not visit the free episode to see what you can gain from that? Because just like Damon John, I used to visit all his stuff, and he knows I care about him. I don't care. It's serious. I care about Damon John and the Damon John Network. If you're out there, Damon John, I've been trying to get on your network, and maybe I'm not ready. I don't know, but they haven't agreed to put me onto your network yet. And I hope that you can talk to them about agreeing, because I know that you don't control the Facebook side of it. I don't know, but I know if you're liking my stuff, you don't know what's going on with Facebook. So if you're controlling the Damon John network, I would love to get back into your network. And also Spectacular. I'm gonna write about Spectacular too. And Damon John. I always will. You know, it's serious out here. They don't need much publicity, but if I could give them the world, I would. You don't. If I could, I would. Thank you. You are helping me get noticed. I haven't put it on TikTok, but you're helping me get. If it wasn't for you two individuals, somebody spectacular. If you're out there watching, somebody even created a fake page and put spectacular in a big blue dot as a picture. It was so funny, yo. It was so funny. But yeah, man. I gotta give y'all two a shout out. Y'all like my mentors. I can't wait to work with you again, Damon John. And I can't wait to see more free stuff that you have to offer, Spectacular. Y'all take care. Be safe out there. Keep doing what y'all doing. All of y'all. Keep grinding. Keep trying to upgrade yourself every day. Keep searching at Google. That Google is a beast, man. That Google, you ask it a question, you have questions to ask it, you're curious about a question, it leads to another question. At Google, SEO, motherboard. motherboard, information, AI technology. It's beautiful. I found out so much from there. I could kiss it and marry it. If that was the ideal person, I would kiss it and marry it. I'd be like, what you doing today? And they just go off in an AI rant. I'd be like, oh, that AI. Bye.